Hello everyone, I hope you're having a good day today. So, could we possibly have a tropical wave that goes into the Caribbean, finally, that starts to seem more organized, had a low percent chance, now up to a medium percent chance? We can actually see where this is right now, coming off of Africa and in Central Africa. We have this big blob of rain that is quite disorganized. We have tropical storm Nigel brewing up in the Atlantic Ocean. Could this go in the Caribbean, or will it just become a fish storm? Most likely fish storm, as more models are indicating that. We have to keep an eye on it, of course, because Bermuda still needs to keep a watch. High pressure is now regaining its forces. So that's that. We have a closer view of what we're seeing here. We have these showers and thunderstorms completely disorganized, but having a higher chance of gradual development over the midweek. If not, by the end of the week, we could have a tropical depression. That is not out of the word here. We do have a lot of this rain, which we will have to keep an eye on, of course. It's unknown to really say what it's going to do, but here is the model for the GFS run. We still see that there is something that comes off of the countryside and kind of goes right into Maine. And we do see that there's that rain sitting right by the east coast of Florida, and even on the west coast some rain, but mostly on the east coast. We have something right there. Could we see something develop? And yes, we do. Kind of making impacts on Georgia, then kind of go straight through it, kind of getting pretty close to Jacksonville. Then we see that there's that rain starting to go into the Caribbean, indicating that we have something here. We see that also towards Florida, we have a big pocket of rain. Could that develop? That question is going to continue to remain. We see that also we have that low pressure area. And we also, by Central America, we do have that pocket of rain that could develop. It has that rotation with it. So here we have the outlook, 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook. That needs update. So here we have disturbance 1, 40% chance of cyclone formation over the next 7 days. A tropical wave is forecasted to move off the west coast of Africa by Wednesday. Gradual development of this wave will be possible. Thereafter, a tropical depression could form late this week or next weekend while the system moves westward across the eastern tropical Atlantic. Formation chance through 48 hours, low, near 0%. Formation chance over the next 7 days, medium, 40% chance. So we're most likely going to see it midweek. So here we have her post-tropical Lee. So we're seeing some more gusty areas of the region by some of the Charlottetown, maybe like 30 mile per hour to 40 mile per hour winds. Newfoundland, Labrador, around like 57 to the coastal lines, and the more inland parts maybe around 20. But once you get a little bit closer to the coast, you're seeing maybe around the top 60 mile per hour winds. And just a little bit offshore around here, you see that we actually achieve the 61 mile per hour winds. And some areas are kind of like right kind of next to the eye, but right around here, the eye is basically right next to them. It will not completely hit them though. It's going to kind of keep tracking north as that eye moves northeast at a pretty fast rate, and it's just going to continue to go out. By Monday, we're having 45 mile per hour wind post-tropical cyclone. It's kind of already like that, except it has 45 for normal normal wind speed, not gusts. And we have Nigel, 60 mile per hour winds, not for sustained. Oh, maybe. That question is uncertain. So GFS indicates that it's a little bit stronger, which is probably the reason why it says tropical storm, which it is. Really nothing that's gusty over here. We just have showers and thunderstorms that maybe bring a bit of a higher gust. The tropical wave, due to, they don't really show the winds. So like if a thunderstorm, let's just say for example, if a thunderstorm, like maybe a severe thunderstorm were to hit Georgia in, let's see, Warner Robins, there could be 60 mile per hour winds, but that doesn't mean it's going to say 60 mile per hour gusts right here. Not necessarily. Okay, so this is the CMC. See that we do have something that kind of goes right off of the east coast of Florida, then develops later on and kind of goes right through. A bit more of an eastern track though. We have that rain that goes kind of, well, we do have that low pressure system. Let me zoom out. So we do see something here. We see that we do have this low pressure system kind of like right around the Bahamas that kind of drift along, and we see some rain that kind of just scatters around. So we have all of this rain in this Gulf. Could that develop? Because there's just so much rain even in the Atlantic right next to Florida. What is that gonna do? It's uncertain. We will find out. There's still a decent amount of there's a lot of disagreements still with these forecast models. So it's really hard to say what's going to happen, but we can see that we have a 993 system, Tropical Storm Nigel, then we have all that rain. So as we continue through time, that does weaken, does lose that pressure down to 968. Then we do have that low pressure system that makes that turn north, but then kind of looks like it goes west and goes right back up north. And then we see another tropical wave coming off of Africa. What is going to happen here? Then we see that we might actually have a tropical wave finally entering in those border islands, Western Antilles. Yeah. Here's a true color satellite. We see basically kind of what's left of Margot and also what's left of Lee. Then we have developing Nigel. Then we have that tropical wave. Some of those showers and thunderstorms are already off of Africa. Then we have the main part still in Central Africa, and it's brewing. Then we have that showers and thunderstorm activity right in the lower parts of Central America. And we do have some showers and thunderstorms in Central America. The Caribbean's still pretty dry. Then we do have that kind of cold front moving right through Virginia, South Carolina, North Carolina, into parts of New York, Vermont. But the Caribbean, so dry. And then I guess some passing showers and thunderstorms in Cuba, Jamaica, pretty quiet, and Dominican Republic, maybe some passing showers and thunderstorms. Guatemala, my bad, pretty quiet. Then Jamaica, maybe like a light shower or two. Border islands, some passing showers and thunderstorms, still quite quiet. We're probably not going to see anything for a little bit, but we probably will start to get into that tropical waves that start to move in to the Caribbean. That's the same model. Alright, so I was looking at Florida's weather. Englewood, Port Charlotte, Venice, Sarasota, Bradenton, all these areas are quite quiet except when we get to a little bit more eastern areas like like Okeechobee, lots of rain. Those are unfortunately moving away from Englewood, Venice, and Sarasota. Unfortunately. We got our models here. Then we go to alrighty, so we're gonna take a run here. We're gonna see what happens. So we see those tropical waves now, like in Central Africa. So they're gonna start to move off of Africa, and we have this other part right there. That did dissipate. Then we do have that swirling action that takes that northern turn and weakens off. Then we have that other weaker tropical wave that kind of forms up a little bit. But what will we see here? That question will continue to remain. It's unknown. Eventually we will find out, but we do see something right here. What is going on here, I wonder? 20 hours, it looks like we kind of have an eye here. Center of circulation. Making some impacts to Jacksonville. A little bit of Columbia. It's going to kind of go right through Jacksonville, Brunswick, Savannah, Charlotte, on North Myrtle Beach, Jacksonville, Wilmington, Greenville, Kitty Hawk, and probably will really start to weaken from there. We can actually see what happens. Let's go down 150. We can see that it really starts to ride that coastal lines. Still left over light rain, a little bit just above Florida. And we do have this pocket of maybe a little bit of convection here by Central America. And we do have another thing moving up north. The tracks might just be north this whole entire time. As we continue through time, we see that that area by Central America, that pocket of rain, stays there for a while, pops up, then weakens, then dissipates a little bit, then comes back up with more showers and thunderstorms. And we do see that kind of going up. We do see that happen here. And it kind of weakens for a second, kind of spreads apart. Then it enters the Gulf, bringing rain all the way into Florida. Some of the areas that need it, especially towards the west coast, we'll get that rain splitting apart from the system. But then we're going to see that there's going to be probably a pretty big pocket of rain that could actually develop, bringing showers and thunderstorms to Florida. That's a good thing. Also kind of making some kind of landfall here. Cape Coral. You see it, and it kind of sticks around for a while. So I mean, that's a good thing. We just don't want anything bad. Like we don't want any place to have anything bad, because like we don't. And we do see towards the middle of the Gulf of Mexico, we do have this pocket of rain. What will that do? Well, once we look at this model, we'll have a bit of a basis. Seems to relatively weaken, but then all of this rain, just this leftover, it keeps building. So then we have these other areas like right there, especially next to Central America. What is this going to do? We have more rain also moving into Florida. Good thing. They need it. Then we have another tropical wave. Uncertain on what that's going to do. Could just weaken. Then we have that big area of rain. And we could have like a tropical storm right there. Staying pretty far from Bermuda, but yeah. It would be good if Florida could get that rain though. I'm hoping that the forecast just doesn't have anything severe, just the heavy rain that they need. Don't want anything bad happening. So looks like once we're the furthest out here, we see that there's this front kind of building, and we have that big pocket of rain right here that could bring some energy. Possible severe weather could. Still all the way up in Canada though. I mean, we'll figure that out. So this is what Lee's doing. Oh wait, can't see it. Okay. Well, I mean, we can see that we have those heavy pockets of rain. Severe or maybe some flash flooding watches could be possible, especially like over here. Watches and warnings. And then we have some special marine warnings in effect. And more of them right around Charlottetown. Myrtle Beach, not a good time to be over by the beach. Rip currents, lightning, thunder, gusty winds. We do have that thunderstorm action kind of by Lake Okeechobee. These areas, like all the way, I mean Tampa's okay, but like just even in these new circled areas, I'll put like a whole entire line that really need that rain. They need it, but they don't really get it. And then we have this big pocket of rain. Here, would not want to be driving a boat into that. Personally, it wouldn't be the best idea. So we're gonna go to satellite imagery post Cyclone Lee. You can see there's kind of an eye right there. Kind of an eye, or just that circulation bubble. And you can see that it has lost a lot of power. We saw this thing at a Category 5 hurricane down to a post-tropical cyclone. And I mean, there's still some flash flooding watches that could happen here and some more gusty winds with a little bit of storm surge. Don't get me wrong there. There's still a lot of effects that this storm can do, so don't do any unnecessary things that would lead you in the wrong direction. Lightning's still possible. If some gusty winds can blow down some unsecure objects. Tornadoes, I guess there's that chance, but really that's starting to decrease a lot. Still, if you're in the areas like in Canada that are being impacted by this, do not take any unnecessary precautions. We have rainfall warnings all through here. Heavy downpours can cause flash floods and water pooling on roads. Localized flooding in low-lying areas is possible. Do not drive on any roads that are flooding. Alright, just don't do that, because I can tell you it's not a good idea. It's not just water that's in there. It can, number one, take your engine out, stall it, and you don't even know what the stuff is like. There could be a nail that pops your tire. There can be so much stuff that you're driving into that you wouldn't even know of. But make sure to always stay weather ready, and I'll keep you updated. Bye. Stay weather ready.